Okay, in this video we're going to pit the Roku 2 XS versus the Logitech Revue with Google TV. Both devices cost $99.99. Both devices offer a lot of streaming options, but both devices have a lot of differences, and we're going to tackle some of those differences and pit these devices head to head and give you a better idea of what device you might want to have in your living room. So let's just start with the basics. Right now you can get a Google TV device anywhere from $99 to $249. And the $99.99 Logitech Revue with Google TV is basically a discontinued device. So Logitech has reduced the price in order to move the units, which is unfortunate because it's a great device. The Roku, on the other hand, you can get anywhere from $59.99 to $99.99. So in this comparison, we're actually comparing apples to apples. We're comparing a $99.99 Logitech Revue with Google TV versus a $99.99 Roku 2 XS device, the highest end Roku you can get. Now, as you can see, both devices look different. The Roku 2 is very compact, and the Logitech Revue is not a large device, but it is larger than the Roku 2. Now, there are previous generations of the Roku, and you can get one of those. You can pick up one of those on eBay, and you'll find that the previous generations of the Roku device has had a lot of different connectivity options. There are a lot of ports on the back of the device. But for this comparison, you're going to have an HDMI out from the Roku and an HDMI out from the Google TV. So again, another apples to apples comparison. Basically, you're only going to be using both of these devices on an HDMI television set or monitor. Now, the remotes on both of these devices are also very different. The Roku is a very simple remote, what you might be used to, obviously, with a television set or, VCR, DVD player. Remotes have been around for quite a long time, so it's pretty much within the consciousness of everybody to know how to use them. Now, the Google TV device, the Logitech Revue, has a keyboard remote. Now, a lot of people are obviously familiar with keyboards, but this remote has several different function buttons on it that might take some getting used to. Now, the Roku remote is very simple, and it only controls the Roku device, as you would expect. The Logitech Revue with Google TV keyboard remote has the Logitech Harmony remote technology built in. So you can actually control other devices with it, such as your DVR, such as your receiver, or DVD player. So there's a lot of versatility to the Logitech Revue with Google TV remote. And this is pretty much where you're going to see the roads starting to diverge between the two devices. The Roku is a very simple, straightforward device. The Google TV device is a little more complex and offers you a lot more options. Now, when you hook up the Roku device for the very first time, it's very easy. All you need to do is plug it into a power outlet, plug it into your television or your monitor, and then access the internet on it, either with an Ethernet cord, or you can just go wireless. The device has 802.11b, G, and N included in it. The Google TV device is a little more complex to set up, but not by any means difficult. Likewise with the Roku, you plug it into a power outlet, you plug it into your television or your monitor, and then you access the internet through an Ethernet cord or through the included 802.11a, b, G, and N wireless included on that device. So the only difference there is that the Google TV offers wireless A and the Roku device does not. Further into the setup process, and if you want to check out the setup process of both of these devices, you can check previous videos I've done on both of these devices. I have from unboxing all the way up to setup and a device tour. But to set up the Logitech Revue, you actually have to use the IR Blaster, the included IR Blaster, if you want to control a receiver, a DVR, or a DVD player. Or even your television set. You can actually control your television set through the Logitech Revue remote, keyboard remote control. Now, it's important to note that neither device is an incredible speed demon, but they're not slow either. So they work at a comfortable speed, and you're not going to get into a situation where you're pulling your hair out because the device is too slow for you. Now both devices offer a USB port on them. And what you can do with that USB port is you can plug in a flash drive or you can plug in an external hard drive. And if you have media on that flash drive or external hard drive, you can most likely play it on the devices. The Roku has a few less options as far as what you can play on the device, the formats, the file formats, and the Google TV is a little more expansive in that department. So if you want to play video on the device with the USB connection, you can play H.264 videos in the file formats of MKV, MP4, and MOV. You can also play WMV, ASF, WMV9, or VC1 files on it. As for music on the Roku, you can play AAC files and MP3s. And as for photos, you can display JPGs and PNGs. Now, as I mentioned, the Google TV offers you a little more options as far as file formats are concerned. For video, you can use H.264 files in the MKV file format, the FLV file format, the MTS or MTS2 or TS file format, and the AVI file format, which includes DivX MPEG-4 and XVID MPEG-4. As for audio on the Google TV, you can use MP3s, MP4s, M4As, and OGGs, or Ogg Vorbis. As for images, you can display JPEGs, PNGs, GIFs, and bitmaps. So you see that you have more options on the Google TV, and like I said, there's a theme to the devices. The Google TV is a little more complex and offers you some more options. The Roku device is more straightforward and gives you somewhat fewer options. Now, if you want to actually play video on the device from your home network wirelessly, you don't want to use the USB connection, your options are easier on the Google TV device. The Google TV device offers DLNA, so you can stream from your local network. And you can use all of the file formats that I mentioned earlier through the network streaming except for the Ogg Vorbis. That's the only thing that you have to have connected through the USB. As far as the Roku device is concerned, you can stream from your local network, but it's a little more difficult to do. It does not offer DLNA. You have to actually download a channel that will allow you to do so. And a lot of these channels are premium channels, so you actually have to pay for them. Now, some of them you actually pay a one-time fee, and others you actually pay a subscription fee which renews yearly. It's not a large price, but it is something worth mentioning that you actually have to pay a price. One of the channels I looked on there was $4.99 annually. So it's not something that's going to break the bank, but it is something to note that you actually have to pay for an additional channel just to stream from your home network. Now, as of the filming of this video, the Roku device offers you more options for channels. All you need to do is enter the channel store, and you see all of your options here. Now, Roku's been around for several years, so there's a lot of different channels on here to choose from, and you probably can find something that's going to be suiting your tastes, whether it's just basic Netflix or one of these very specialized channels available here. Now, the Google TV device actually runs on Android, and there has been a promised Android upgrade that's going to come to Google TV that's going to actually allow the Android market to be on the Google TV device. So you're going to see a flood of new content coming to the Google TV device. But as of right now, that's not here yet. I will be updating you when that does come to the device, though. So if I have to compare the two devices right now, you're going to see more channel options on the Roku device, but what the Google TV lacks on channels currently, it makes up with an internet browser. You actually get an internet browser on the device, a full Chrome browser, and you can pretty much access anything on the internet. It is worth noting that channels, network channels such as CBS, NBC, ABC, basically any channel that you watch video on the internet, let's say you watch something on television and you miss it, but they have it online, pretty much all of those content providers have blocked the Google TV. So you're not going to be able to see past episodes that you missed on your network television websites, but you do have all of the options like Crackle and all of the internet streaming sites. You also have YouTube on it if you want to, if you're a fan of YouTube, which probably you are because you're watching this on YouTube. So you have 99% of the internet at your fingertips on the Google TV device. The only thing, like I said, is that some content providers have chosen to block the Google TV. You do not get an internet browser on the Roku device. Now, being that the Roku device is a little more simplistic, the menus are very simple, once you add a lot of channels onto your Roku device, you'll notice that scrolling through all of this takes a little bit of time. It's a little more easy to access on your Google TV device. But one thing worth mentioning is that the Roku device has Angry Birds. It's a very popular game, even though it's been around for a while and a lot of people have moved on to other things. But Angry Birds is on it, so it's somewhat of a selling point, and you can play it on this device. Also worth mentioning is that the Roku remote, if you get the XS version, which is the one that I have, is actually a motion-controlled remote. So you can use it somewhat like a Wiimote, where you can, for instance, playing Angry Birds, you can actually use and manipulate the birds through the slingshot with this remote device here. So I would say that being that it's a remote, similar to a Wiimote, it's a little more game-friendly, or at least Wii game-friendly, or more casual game-friendly than is the Google TV remote, or keyboard remote. But speaking of the remote, what I've noticed is that it's pretty battery hungry, in my experience. I haven't sought out other people who have the new Roku to see if they have the same experience that I've had, but I've had this device for about, I'd say, 2 months now, and I've changed the batteries on it about 3 times. So it takes AA batteries, and if you have rechargeables, it's not an issue. But it's one thing to note that the Roku device, or at least the new Roku remote on the high-end device, which is the motion-controlled remote, is fairly battery hungry. Now, another thing worth noting on the Roku device is that you can actually have expandable memory on it. Now, obviously, both devices have USB ports on them, so you can expand the memory on it that way. But the Roku device actually has a micro SD card slot on it that you can discreetly put in the device and upgrade the memory itself. So that's something that's worth mentioning. Now, if you're a fan of my channel or you've watched previous videos that I've had, you've known that I've pretty much dragged my feet on getting Netflix. But when everybody has the uproar about Netflix and jumps off the ship, I actually jump on. So I actually have become a Netflix subscriber, and I only do the streaming, I don't do the DVDs. But I actually love it. I think it's the greatest thing ever, and I'm pretty much swimming upstream on this because now's the time that most people are angry at Netflix. But I think it's the greatest thing ever. There's a lot of stuff on there that, quirky things, different things, off the beaten path, streaming movies, and I think it's a fun experience. Fortunately, both of these devices offer Netflix. Now, both devices play Netflix videos very well, and I haven't had any problems with it at all thus far. The one thing that I like about both devices is that they offer a wide variety of off-the-beaten-path content. So you're going to find a lot of different channels in the Roku channel store that are very specialized. And it's somewhat similar, although a lighter version on the Google TV currently, although I see that changing when Android 3.0 actually comes to the Google TV device. All in all, both devices are a great buy. I think you cannot go wrong buying either one of these devices. If you're into streaming media, whether it be Netflix or Amazon Instant Video, that's one thing I didn't mention. Amazon Instant Video streams very well off of this, and it's more of an a la carte unless you have Amazon Prime. It's more of an a la carte version than is Netflix. But like I said, if you have Amazon Prime, which I do, you can stream movies as well. So both devices offer Netflix, both devices offer Amazon Instant Video, and a lot of other options. So if you're into that, if you're into streaming media to your television set off of the internet through these services, then either device would be a good choice. If there's any advice that I could give you, because I own both devices, and I'm happy with both devices, and I'm going to keep both devices, but if there's any advice I could give you if you only want to own one of them, it's that the Roku is pretty much a very straightforward, simple device. And if you can live within its parameters, if you could live within its limitations, then it's a great option for you. The Google TV device is a little more complex, and sometimes I find that that manifests itself in the remote. The keyboard is great to have, especially because the device has a web browser on it, but the trackpad, buttons, and the actual Android buttons are very close to each other, and sometimes instead of clicking the left mouse button, I end up clicking the back button. So that's somewhat of a slight frustration. Also worth mentioning, the Google TV, the setup, and the menus are not as organized as I'd like to see them. With Android 3.0 upcoming, I think they're going to rectify some of that and fix it. But as it stands right now, it's not very straightforward. It's kind of jumbled. If you want to get things done, you have to dive deep into some menus. And it's by no means difficult, don't get me wrong. But it's something that could use some cleaning up. Something to make it a little bit more straightforward than it currently is. But the Google TV device offers you the full internet on the device itself. It is a little more expansive. It offers you more options than the Roku device does. Now, one thing that I did not mention that's definitely worth mentioning is that if you have a cable provider that's compatible with Google TV, you can actually include live TV as one of your viewing options. And as I said before, you can actually use the device to control your DVR. So it further integrates into your entertainment center than does a Roku device. The Roku device is sort of a branch, whereas the Google TV is more inclusive of everything. I personally don't have a cable company that works with the Google TV device, so I'm not able to sample that or test that out for you. So all in all, both devices are a great buy. The Roku is a more simple solution than is the Google TV, but you get more options with the Google TV. So what's my opinion? If I could only own one of these devices, I think it would be the Google TV. And the reason being is because you can pretty much get everything you can get on the Roku device on the Google TV. Plus, the Google TV is going to be getting the Android 3.0 upgrade. So what that means is that the Android market is coming to the Logitech Revue. So it's going to offer you more programs, more games, more apps, more options. Even if I had to make my decision right now, and let's just say Android 3.0 would never come to the Google TV, I definitely still would pick the Google TV device just because, you know, you can surf the internet straight on your television set and pretty much pick up anything that you want to watch on there, short of things that have been blocked. So what do you think? Do you own any of these devices? Do you own another device that I didn't include in this comparison here? What do you think is the best streaming media solution available on the market today? Just put it in the comments down below. So that pretty much does it for this video. I will see you guys next time.